Fourth story. The Inheritance of the Mad Millionairess. Part 1. The Strange Request After Dinner. Go see the Millionairess. The hotel restaurant was called Sea Breeze. Originality in names was not their strong suit here, nor were any of the other problems that plagued ordinary mortals. Alex arrived exactly at 7, as promised, and found Jessica already seated at a table overlooking the ocean. She wore a light silk dress the color of a summer sunset, and that evening she looked less like a divorce lawyer and more like a woman who knew exactly what she wanted from life. Or at least knew how to convince everyone she did. "You're punctual," she said as Alex lowered himself into the chair opposite her. "That inspires hope. My ex-husbands were always late. All 3 of them." 3? Alex raised an eyebrow. "I thought you mentioned your 3rd divorce. Or did I mishear?" "You didn't mishear." Jessica took a sip of the champagne already on the table. 3 husbands, 3 divorces. Simple arithmetic. I ordered champagne, by the way. I hope you drink it. In good company, always. Clever answer. She smiled. Just like in court. Are you always this careful with words? Only when talking to lawyers. Alex picked up his glass and clinked it against hers. What are we drinking to? To the end of this ridiculous disappearance story. And to the fact that you turned out not to be a maniac. Though I admit I considered that possibility. Seriously? What do you think? Jessica narrowed her eyes. An unknown man sits down with us by the pool, introduces himself as a psychologist, the next day is already chatting freely with the main suspect in her missing husband case, and then gives statements to the police. In my line of work, I'm obliged to suspect everyone. And what conclusion did you reach? That you're either a genuinely good psychologist or a brilliant con man. She stared straight at him, unsmiling. And I haven't decided yet which is worse. Alex laughed. The laughter was genuine, because Jessica had struck the exact center of his split personality. A good psychologist? Yes. A brilliant con man? That too. And if I told you I'm both? Then I'd say that's the most honest answer I've heard in the last 5 years. Jessica smiled and raised her glass to her lips again. Tell me. Where did you drop from onto our heads? From the sky, Alex said seriously. Parachuted straight into a deck chair. Bad jump. You're lying. Of course I'm lying. But you're a lawyer, you're supposed to interrogate, and I'm supposed to dodge. That's the nature of things. The nature of things, Jessica repeated thoughtfully. You know, in 25 years of practice I've learned one simple truth. People lie. Every single one of them. The only question is why. Some lie to hurt, others to protect themselves, still others to be liked. Which category do you fall into? Alex thought for a moment. A good question. And a dangerous one. Far too dangerous for a first dinner. Probably all 3 at once, he answered honestly. Depending on the circumstances. But tonight, right now, I'm lying only to come across as mysterious and interesting to you. Because I'd bet that after 25 years of other people's lies, plain truth no longer moves you. Jessica looked at him for a long time, a very long time. Then she suddenly burst out laughing, loud, genuine, filling the whole restaurant. Oh my God, she gasped, wiping away tears. You're the first man in the last 10 years who's admitted he's lying just to impress me. Usually they swear eternal love from the first second. Well, that's just stupid, Alex shrugged. Eternal love at first sight only happens in movies and novels for housewives. In reality there's champagne, a warm evening, and 2 adults who simply enjoy each other's company. Everything else comes later. You're a dangerous man, Alex, Jessica said, but there was no alarm in her voice, only interest. Very dangerous. I know, he nodded. That's why I went into psychology. To channel the danger into peaceful waters. They ordered dinner. They talked about small things, the weather, the hotel, the strange guests Jessica had studied inside and out over 3 weeks. She told funny stories about her clients' divorces. He told stories of psychological curiosities. The evening stretched slowly, like good wine, and Alex caught himself thinking that he felt good. Simply good. No plan, no cover story, no task. It was unfamiliar. And a little frightening. When they were finishing their coffee, Jessica suddenly grew serious. Alex, I want to ask you something, she said, looking straight into his eyes. It has nothing to do with our evening. It's about work. I'm listening. I have a friend. Or rather, a client who became a friend. A strange story, but we bonded over shared let's say misfortunes. Her name is Rose Winters. She's 52, a widow, worth about $150 million. And she has a problem. She thinks someone wants to kill her. Alex whistled. Seriously? The thing is, I don't know. Jessica set her cup aside. Rose is a smart woman, but after her husband's death she lost her grip. Not in the sense that she went completely mad, but that she started seeing conspiracies everywhere. Now the staff are stealing, now the gardener wants to poison her, now her nephew is sending hitmen. I tell her, Rose, go to a psychiatrist, and she says, all psychiatrists are bought by my nephew. Classic paranoia, Alex nodded. But usually behind such stories there's either a real threat or a deep psychosis. No third option. Exactly. And I don't know what to do. She trusts me, but I'm a lawyer, not a doctor. And you? Jessica hesitated. You gave me the impression of someone who knows how to read people. And who won't run to the police with every word she says. You want me to talk to her? I want you to observe her. Not as a psychologist, not as a detective. Just as a friend. Stay at her house for a couple of days. She lives in a huge mansion on the coast and constantly complains about loneliness. I'll tell her you're a good acquaintance of mine, a psychologist from Europe here on holiday. She adores Europeans. I think she'll agree. Alex thought it over. The offer was strange. And dangerous. On one hand, he had just decided he wanted to rest from the role of savior. On the other, he liked Jessica. Very much. And he didn't want to refuse her. What if she really is paranoid? He asked. What if she's dangerous? She's not dangerous, Jessica said firmly. Rosie is a lamb. A golden, rich lamb. The worst she can do is hire a private detective to watch the gardener. Or fire the entire staff once a month. Money allows it. And the nephew? A real person? Real. Jack Winters, 28, the only heir after Rose dies. If she dies, everything goes to him. So he has a motive. But that doesn't mean he's a killer. And what about him? Ordinary rich kid. Parties, burns through life, waits for the inheritance. Their relationship is complicated. She draws him close, then pushes him away. Right now he's in disgrace because he brought a girl home whom Rose didn't like. What girl? A model. 22, blonde, legs up to her ears. Rose thinks she's a gold digger. Maybe she is. But again, that's not a crime. Alex was silent, digesting the information. A plan was already forming in his head. Damn it. He had just promised himself not to get involved, and here it was again. All right, he said at last. I'll try. But on my terms. Which are? I won't treat her. I'll simply observe, talk, try to understand whether she has real grounds for fear or if it's all imagination. If I see anything criminal, I'll tell you. Then you decide whether to go to the police. Agreed. Jessica held out her hand, and they sealed the deal with a handshake. Thank you, Alex. I feel you're exactly the man we need. I hope you're not mistaken, he smiled. Because the last time a woman said that, I almost got married. What happened? She turned out to be my client. And I was her psychologist. Ethical conflict. Jessica laughed. You never stop surprising me. I'll call Rose tomorrow. I'm sure she'll agree. And now she glanced at her watch. It's almost 11. I have an early video court session tomorrow. So I'd better go. Shall I walk you? No need. I'm in the next building. She stood up and suddenly kissed Alex on the cheek. Thank you for the evening. I haven't laughed like that in ages. Neither have I, Alex said honestly. Good night. She left, and he remained at the table, looking at the ocean and thinking that life was a strange thing. A moment ago he had been planning to do nothing, and in a few days he might find himself in the house of a paranoid millionairess. And all this after the missing husband story. Must be fate, he thought. Or professional deformation. Or maybe I simply don't know how to rest properly. He finished his coffee, paid, and went to his room. On the way it struck him. There was too little information. Jessica had given him the general outline, but it wasn't enough to enter a house full of potentially dangerous people. He needed details. Biography, finances, connections, hidden skeletons. Everything that usually lay beneath the surface. And then Alex remembered his third cousin. Leo was 5 years younger. They had met only a couple of times at family gatherings, but as children they had corresponded on social media for a while. Alex knew Leo had become a programmer, one of those called keyboard geniuses. He could hack anything if asked nicely. They hadn't spoken in years, but the contact was still in his phone. Alex hesitated. Asking such a favor of someone he barely knew was risky. But Leo was family. And family should help, even if they were third cousins and the last time they had seen each other was at their grandmother's funeral 10 years ago. He took out his phone and typed a message. He edited it for a long time so it wouldn't sound like a request for something criminal. Hi, Leo. It's Alex, your third cousin. I don't know if you remember me, but we saw each other at Grandma's funeral years ago. I have an unusual favor to ask. Could you help find information on one person? Just open data, maybe something from social media, nothing illegal. I just want to know who I'm dealing with. He sent it and waited. 1 minute, 2, 5. Alex had already decided Leo had either changed his number or simply didn't want to talk to a distant relative who had suddenly appeared with a shady request. The phone pinged. Leo. No way. Alex? You're the psychologist, right? I follow you on Instagram, you post pics from all kinds of resorts. Living the dream. Alex smiled. He kept the Instagram only for cover stories, photos from trips, expensive hotels and restaurants. Nice that his cousin followed it. Alex. Living like everyone else. Listen, sorry to hit you with a request right away, but it's urgent. Leo. No problem, family's family. Tell me, who's the person? Alex. Rose Winters, 52, widow, worth about $150 million. Lives in a mansion on the coast. Everything you can find. Biography, husband, business, relatives, maybe any dark stories. And separately, nephew Jack Winters, 28, and his model girlfriend. Don't know her name yet. Leo, wow. You hunting a millionairess? Alex, no. I'm trying to figure out if someone's hunting her. Long story. Leo. Intriguing. Okay, I'm in. Just warning you. I'm a programmer, not a hacker. I won't hack anything, but I can dig through open sources and closed databases I have legal access to through work. Alex. Thanks, brother. I owe you. Leo. Put it on the tab for that turkey you gave me at Thanksgiving dinner. I stuffed myself and nearly exploded. Alex laughed. The memory was warm. Yes, at that dinner he had slipped Leo seconds, and the little kid had later clutched his stomach but kept eating with both hands. Alex. Consider us even. Waiting. He put the phone away and lay down in bed. Outside the window the ocean roared, and in that roar he heard something both alarming and soothing. It started, he thought. It started again. Now he might have an ally. A third cousin programmer who still remembered the turkey from 10 years ago. Sometimes life offered better surprises than any cover story.